Beautiful.
Right, who's next, Tony? What's your
Tony.
story?
All right, I got a little dictionary update. Merriam-Webster announced its word of the year, and it's going to surprise some people because it's a pronoun, the pronoun they. Now, this is a word that can be used to refer to one person whose gender identity is non-binary, so he, she, they. It became such a popular term this year with searches up 313% that the august dictionary, Merriam-Webster, decided that they had no choice but to add it to the definition of they. And I think it's really interesting because it goes to show how social and political conversation and change find their way into our language.
It does, but I have to confess, I'm still trying to navigate it. Somebody said
It's
they
very
to me
tricky.
the other day, and I thought they were talking about a group of people.
Yeah.
And they were talking about one person, so I'm still trying to get on board.
Yeah, if you were raised
Right.
with certain grammar lessons.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Exactly. I was gonna
compute
say,
easily.
Yeah.
Get every 8th grade English teacher on board with this. We'll be okay.
I'm still working on it.
Recently, Merriam Dictionary declared the word they, quote unquote, as the word of the year. They referring to this, the whole transgender lingo, dealing with pronouns, how these extreme liberals, extreme leftists on the left, on the political left, they always talk about, you can't misgender somebody because if somebody's a transgender, let's say, for instance, a man transitions into a woman, and that woman declares that, the man declares that he's a female, but biologically he's still a male. But if a random person calls him, he, him, like a male pronoun, that's considered offensive. In some cases, that person can get fined or arrested, or get their Twitter account banned or Facebook account banned for quote unquote misgendering. So a lot of transgenders, people who call themselves gender fluid, call themselves non-binary or what have you, they call themselves they, which is weird because that's a plural. That's not dealing with one person. That's not dealing with one person. That's a plural, like they, them. And when I first heard this, see, this is what I'm about to say is why a lot of so-called conservatives really need to start reading books, get off social media, stop sharing memes, and actually pick up a damn book and start reading a damn book. It reminds me of this book I read by one of my favorite authors, Ayn Rand. She wrote a book like way back, I think it was like in the 1930s, I believe. One of her first books, I won't call it a novel, it's like a novelette. The book is called Anthem. It's you can say it's a sci-fi book, but it's like a dystopian 1984-ish book, kind of like dystopian, kind of like you can put it like in the same category. You can put it like in the same category as like the Brave New World, Orwell, and you put it in that category. But it was basically about this dystopian world, like in the future where like the word I, if you refer to yourself as I or I am, it's against the law, and everybody has to refer to themselves as part of the collective, like they, them, and it's kind of like the book is not post-apocalyptic, but it's kind of like like in the future where like nobody has names, everybody has numbers for names or something, and there's no room for individuality. Everybody has to do everything for the collective, and even will come down to the type of job that you work at. They assign you a job, or give you a number, and say it's kind of. But the main the main things in the book that really stuck out is like it was against the law to refer to yourself as I or I am. You can't refer to yourself as a singular. He had to refer to you're part of the collective. So So if you act like an individual, think differently or whatever, what I'm saying, that's against the law, you know. But the main difference between the book and real life, I know in the book Anthem, and I actually wrote a small short essay about the book, and what I do is I put it below in the description. But what's interesting is that the main character, he just left. He was he left. He just walked out and left the society pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But in real life, that's not the case, because you might come to a point that if you don't conform, you might get arrested. You might get fired from your job, or even worse, you might go to a firing squad, if you don't use the proper pronouns, and all this kind of stuff. And it's all psyop, because if you really look at this whole transgender thing, transgenders, they make up less than 1% of the population. They really make up maybe like 0.6, 0.8 percent of the American population. So they're like a very small minority. But it's interesting how the psyops or whatever social conditioning that they're using, they're focusing so much on them compared to other groups that are out there who are also minorities. And just going side rant, I was involved in the whole, you can call it pagan, Wicca, voodoo community for a while. And, that's a small minority. A lot of them are left leaning. And it's interesting how the media never focus on them at all. You never focus on the Wiccans, never focus on the pagans, and never focus on people who practice Santeria, Palomyombe, all these little minority religions, even Satanism and Luciferianism and demonology. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're around, but out of all the groups, the media can be whoever they can emphasize and blow up. They ignored the subgroup I was a part of, and they went straight to the transgenders for some odd reason. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But I know why, because it's a mind game. If you can convince people that a man is a woman is a man, that's a mind game. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the best way I can describe it is kind of it's brainwashing. It's basically it's like in the same category of telling somebody the sky is red. Obviously, it's very obvious that the sky is blue. But if you convince somebody that the sky is red, and also tell that person that if you don't believe that it's red, if you say it's blue, you're a bigot, you're a Nazi, you're old-fashioned, you're a misogynist for saying the sky is blue, when obviously the sky is blue. They're gonna have you arrested or take you to a psych ward, all because you're saying the obvious that the sky is blue, but they tell you that it's red. That's social conditioning to make people do whatever they want them to do. So, what I'm saying? But going back to this, what Merriam Dictionary is doing, making the word they, the word they as the word of the year. It's all about collectivism, because, they is a plural, more than one. So when you say they, them, you're talking about a group of people, a collectivism, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And notice how the transgender agenda, they focus on referring to one person as they and them. It's kind of like the Borg on Star Trek. They're not individuals. The Borg, you never see a Borg refer to themselves as an individual. The Borg see themselves as a collective, and they want to assimilate all the species so they can be part of that Borg collective, that Borg hive mind. That's the same thing, as this whole thing about collectivism using they, saying this social conditioning to get rid of individuality and make you part of this whole communist utopian collective that they want to initiate, you know. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people, they don't see it that way. They see a lot of things on the surface level. But what I would suggest that when you get time, if you like reading books, go on Amazon and order Ayn Rand's Anthem. And what I do is I wrote like a couple years ago, wrote like a little, you can say like an essay or a summary or a report or whatever you want to call it. I wrote you can say like an article or essay about the book, because it's very easy to read. And what I do in the description, I put it under, I put it in the description. You can read it and everything, and what I'm saying, you can read it yourself. And but that's all I had to say, because I was just seeing that, because when I heard about the whole Merriam Dictionary thing, that's the first thing that popped in my head, about that the whole thing with Ayn Rand, Anthem, the word I being banned, and they being part of collective Borg hive mind, utopia, the utopia, the word utopia means no place you can't achieve the utopia, because even when you're dealing with even science fiction, I'll just go on another side rant. Even the science fiction in the future, they exploring outer space, Star Trek, it's almost like this post-scarcity society. They don't need money, but they still having the wars with the damn Klingons, Romulans, and the Cardassians, and all these races. They still have wars and battles in space. And also, even if you're talking about the biblical, there's a war in heaven. If heaven's perfect, how come there was a war in heaven, when God kicked out Lucifer and the fallen angels, but that's a whole, like I said, I'm just going on the whole rants, but basically what I'm saying that, defiance is defiance is hardwired in the universe and nature, so this whole thing about like just create this perfect society where there's no conflict, everybody's in unity, everybody's one mind, one hive mind. It's impossible. And the only way you can do that is, initiate that whole Borg scenario where everybody's coming together by force. You know what I'm saying. And if you say you're individual, you're a bigot. You know what I'm saying. You're a misogynist. You're a Nazi because you said you're individual. You refer to yourself as I. Arrest him. You put him in jail. But that's coming, guys. Yeah, but anyway, I just want to give my 2 cents to that whole topic. And when you get a chance, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. All right, guys, peace out.